Is Raleigh still worth moving to, or did you miss the window? Because you're thinking prices continue to go up, traffic continues to get worse, and it feels like everyone and their brother is moving to the area. Well, today I'm going to give you my honest answer. What's great? What makes you think twice? So to really understand why people are still coming to this area, we have to look at the big picture of how the area is evolving. And so first off, let's take a look at Raleigh itself. Raleigh is a big metro and it's continuing to grow and it's not slowing down. And that growth is starting to spread across the triangle into towns like Cary, Apex, Holly Springs, Wake Forest, Clayton, just to name a few. It's been happening for the past decade or two and it's just continuing. We're actually helping a couple of families right now move down from the New York area. And what we're hearing is that they're done with high taxes, they're done with the cold weather, especially after this past winter, and they're done with the constant traffic and the time it takes them to commute to work and other things. And so they're coming here because they're truly looking for a better lifestyle. But that better lifestyle only makes sense if the math also makes sense. So let's actually talk about the cost involved when moving to the area and see if it makes sense for you and your family. Now, I mentioned earlier, as the Raleigh real estate market has matured, we're starting to see higher pricing. And it's all happened since COVID, almost doubling prices of average homes here in our area. And so even in the last 5 years, we've seen significant growth. Median home prices in most of the towns around the triangle, around Raleigh and the suburbs, are ranging about $500,000 to $600,000 in median home price. The once $1 million home that you used to get in Cary 5 to 7 years ago is now about $2 million. So the prices have really increased. And just to show you how they've increased, I'm going to just mention a couple of towns in the area and their median home prices. And if you watch my market updates every month, you'll know this data will sound very familiar. And if you don't watch them, make sure you subscribe to the channel right here so you don't miss my monthly updates and market updates for all the towns that we cover around the triangle. So starting off with Apex, median home price is $619,000. Holly Springs median home price $600,000, the same as Cary, $599 to be exact for last month, and Raleigh comes in around $530. That is for last month. Those are the median home prices in our area. Now, if you really want to see how far your dollar will go, let's run a side-by-side comparison for those considering a move from, say, New York to here in North Carolina. Now, let's put this in perspective. If you are coming from the Long Island area, numbers look very different, especially if you compare it to Raleigh. The median home price in that area can run anywhere from $750,000 to $900,000. Now compare that to Raleigh, which is $530,000 to $630,000. But it's not just about home prices, it's about property taxes. You could expect to pay about half of the property taxes here in our area. On average, property taxes are about 1% of the home value. Additionally, and this surprises a lot of people coming to the area, car insurance will significantly go down, unless of course you have a lot of tickets, then I can't help you. But on average, most car insurances you'll see is going to be a lot less, especially if you're a good driver. And just to put that in perspective, we pay about $300 a month, and that's for 4 drivers, 2 of which are in their 20s. So a lot less than, say, people coming from Florida or the Northeast. Homeowners insurance will also be lower depending on where you're coming from throughout the United States. Of course, if you're coming from Florida, you're going to have a huge savings in home insurance. And then on average, home costs are a little lower than some of those metro areas. So not only are you saving money in home prices and you can buy more of a house for the price point, you're also saving money in some of these ancillary costs that you experience all year long. Now that we've covered some of the housing costs and your everyday costs, let's talk about what really drives people to this area, and it's lifestyle. So the ROI, yes, that's one thing. What are you going to get? What is going to be more of a savings for you? Because everyone loves to save money. Also, it's the lifestyle. You're going to have less stress, more space, especially if you go to some of the outer suburbs. You can find a house on some acreage. We see a lot of people coming down to the area that wants more space. They don't want to be on top of one another. They're tired of that. They've been crammed in either in the Northeast or down in Florida, and they want to spread out. And so those opportunities do exist here. The other thing about lifestyle is our weather is conducive to being outside a lot. In fact, you've heard me talk about before on some of my past videos, the greenway system that runs throughout the Wake County area is amazing. It's a great opportunity to get out and walk and bike. And then our park system is amazing, especially in the town of Cary. We have some wonderful parks, but not just in Cary, throughout the whole triangle. And so that's what's bringing people to the area as well. They want to get out of that cold weather. They want to spend more time outside, and they really just want to enjoy an active lifestyle. The other thing that people are trying to get away from is traffic. Now, we do have traffic here. It's probably not the same as what you're experiencing in the Northeast, or if you're coming from Atlanta or even Northern Virginia, it's not that kind of traffic. But we do have traffic, especially around the commuting times, just because we've had so much growth in the area. There's only a few arteries that people are using to commute. So just expect delays during the morning peak hours and also in the evening hours. So something you want to make sure, if it's important to you, you pick areas throughout the triangle that maybe you're not going to experience as much traffic, because there may be several different ways to get to that area. You definitely want to avoid areas that have only one road in and one road out. And of course, all of that traffic is really, as I mentioned, a result of all the growth. And all the growth continues because our economy continues to increase, with so many companies coming to the area, building a corporate headquarters here, hiring people. And so thus more and more people are moving to the area because our job market is really strong. And it's anchored in Research Triangle Park, which is a strong tech and biotech area. You have companies such as Google, IBM, Cisco, Lenovo, so many different companies. And so that's really a big attraction for people moving to the area, especially for those tech and biotech jobs. It's really created the foundation here. But just like any regional area, not every job pays big city salaries. We do have a lot of great paying jobs here, but don't expect something that you may get comparable in, say, New York City or up in Boston area. It definitely is going to be adjusted for our area and for our cost of living. Another big perk of why people are moving to this area and why you might want to consider it is that we are central in North Carolina, and you are 2 hours to the beaches and 3 hours to the mountains. So that's attractive to a lot of people that want to come here, but they also want quick escapes to weekend destinations. And then we are so close to the DC area, to Charleston area, so really makes it easy to do a weekend there, as well as some of the other towns around the area. And then when it comes to things to do around the Raleigh area in general, there's tons of festivals throughout the year. We do have the State Farmers Market right here in Raleigh, as well as all the towns around Raleigh do have their own farmers market, generally on the weekend. As I mentioned earlier, there are a ton of greenways throughout the area, a ton of parks, golf, tennis, you name it, it's here for you, as well as art and museums that are located in downtown Raleigh and in Durham. And then when it comes to sports, we do have the Carolina Hurricanes, which is our professional hockey team, and people really get behind the Hurricanes, especially they're always having great years, which is awesome. And as far as any other professional teams, nothing yet, although it has been in the talks about trying to get a Major League Baseball team here. So that is something we're keeping an eye on. Hopefully it'll happen. But we do have NFL and the NBA right down the road in Charlotte, which is about a 2.5 hour ride. So if you wanted to get out of town for the weekend and go see a game, that option is available to you. If you are a diehard pro sports team, you may be a little disappointed that we don't have a team. But what we don't have in pro sports, we make up in college sports. We have NC State, UNC, and Duke all right here in the area. And a lot of the people here really get involved in going to see those games, especially in March. As you can imagine, around March Madness, the whole town just stops and they want to watch the basketball games. So I think there is definitely something for everyone here when it comes to sports and activities. And so we may be on the quieter side and we may be missing some of the pro teams, but a lot of the focus is on education, and we do see that too with our public school system. Wake County school system, which is the county school system surrounding Raleigh, is a very popular choice. We also have several private schools and magnet schools to choose from. So we have a lot of strong parent involvement in the schools, and so that's what makes them great. And we find that there's a lot of highly competitive students throughout Wake County Public Schools. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have our 3 big universities, so you really can't go wrong when you're looking at education here in the Raleigh area. So the other thing that's a big driving factor for people that are moving to the area, and something you really need to think about is the weather. So we do have 4 seasons. It's a big attraction for people that are maybe considering moving here versus, say, Florida, because we do get our nice fall weather, we do get beautiful spring weather, and we do have a pretty moderate winter. We may get 1 or 2 snows a year or ice storms, but on average, our winters are pretty mild compared to some areas in the Northeast. You're not going to be shoveling inches and inches of snow, but maybe on occasion when we have a freak winter storm. The other thing is, though, our summers are pretty hot and humid. They last about 2 months where it's really hot and humid, where you do have to either find a pool or head to the beach or to the mountains to get some relief out of the heat, because it can hit close to 100 degrees on some days, but not all days. And while we're on the subject of weather, we do need to mention the pollen, because we do have a pretty strong pollen season. It lasts about 3 to 4 weeks. The whole place will be covered in yellow. So if you're one that suffers from allergies, something you just need to be aware of and be prepared. And when it comes to where we see most people moving to, we're seeing most people choose Cary, Apex, Holly Springs, Wake Forest. They're starting to look at Clayton. And I think a lot of the migration has been to those towns because those towns are always in the news. They're always on the best places to live or other rankings. So they're the most known. But with that, they're going to be the most high priced. There are several areas throughout the triangle that may be a better fit for you and your family, especially if you're looking for something with a little bit more land. So those are things too that we can help you with finding the right place. But no matter where you choose throughout the triangle, one thing you can be sure of, there is excellent healthcare in our area. With Duke Health and UNC, we have such great facilities, and there's a lot of sub-satellite facilities. So no matter where you're at in the triangle, you're always going to have access to great healthcare. So when you put all of these things together, you get the reason why so many people are moving to the area and why I have called this place home for so long. I've lived here for 18 years. I moved my family from South Florida, and we never looked back. My kids went to Wake County Public Schools and then on to the North Carolina universities. We love the weather here, the lifestyle, and mostly the people. You will find that everybody is friendly here, and it was the best decision we ever made. So if you're sitting there wondering, did I miss it? Did I miss the opportunity? No, you didn't. There are still many new places that are coming up here, great areas to move to. So if you're still sitting on the fence, or if you're ready to start touring homes, reach out to me or my husband Steve at Dare Realty Group and schedule a consultation. Our contact information is right here. Give us a call or a text, or our contact information is also in the chat below. We would love to help you make a smart move and avoid any mistakes. Thanks again for watching, and if you like this video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. I'm Trish Dare, and I'll see you on the next video.